I'm creating this tour where I'm giving my services out for free. I'm going to be teaching for free at all these studios across the state of Georgia. So I had over 50 studios call me within 24 hours, and I was shocked.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the show, The Healthy Huddle. Today's episode is with Michael Hollingsworth. How's it going, Michael?
It's good, just another beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's just my, what's the word for it? Facetious way of saying crazy as hell. It's Buckhead.
I hear you. And it has been for quite a while now, right? We've got at least 24 plus months if life wasn't already crazy with you.
Oh, yeah.
Just a lot going on. Tell us a little bit about your background as far as maybe before you came to Atlanta and how you got into choreography. I know you do a lot more than dance. We're going to talk about that as well. But go a little bit into your background about where you got to where you are today.
Yeah. I come from a family of military personnel, World War II vets, Israeli Army, West Point military grads. I grew up with that kind of structure growing up, moving around. I was born on Fort Knox in Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, my my family background is pretty insane. The South was just a whole culture change for me. Growing up, I didn't have my biological father growing up. And my stepfather, which was my brother and my sister's dad, took care of us. I grew up with a very interesting, and the best way I can put it is an interesting background. And so by the time I was 8, it was just me, my mom, and my brother. And my mother had epilepsy, and we took care of her because she didn't really know how to take care of herself. So me and my brother took care of my mother and my sister most of our lives, and then started doing our own thing. So
Had to grow up pretty quick.
oh yeah. So by the time I was about 9 years old, the towers went down. I saw that across the river, and I moved down here. To keep me out of trouble, my brother would take me to the local skating rink, and I would just, go battle out on the south side of Atlanta. And this is when Atlanta was known for being the dirty South. So, so,
Could be some rough neighborhoods still, right?
hey, man. So living on the south side of Atlanta, being half Filipino and half Caucasian, battling at the skating rinks wasn't exactly easy. So I really had to prove myself, and being a b-boy, it was just natural. And being from New York, it really pushed it to another edge. So I met a lot of different people, from the creators of trend dances like Whoop Rico and Swag Surf and all this other stuff. And like, we would just battle at Dazzles or Skate Town or Cascade or Sparkles, all on the south side. And
Sparkles and Cascade. Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
And so
and
that's how you really started into the Atlanta dance culture and some of what you were going to do with training or coaching and choreography later on.
yeah. When I did all that, it was just for pure pleasure. It wasn't out of money and necessity. It was more of just, I needed to get the hell out. I was like, this is my way of like showing the world what was up. So by the time I hit 14, my mentor passed, and I met some good friends like my friend Jay Flip from America's Best Dance Crew, and the whole entire Royal Flush crew, Swagger crew, Jungle Boogie, Collision crew.
Do you remember Remote Control?
I do. So that's how I met them too. I met Marquise and the original Dragon House, met 7 members.
I went to school. I went to school with Brian.
Oh yeah, with
Yeah.
Chibi.
Brian, the young kid that had some of the back
Yeah,
medical issues. Yeah,
yeah, his name is
he was
GB.
top notch, dude. Best personality I've ever met in my life.
He is probably like my favorite master of isolation, to be honest. But yeah, by the time I was 14, I was battling at all these places and I was labeled as the white kid. And I just kept pushing forward and kept going. And then I would go to Myrtle Beach every summer. And they used to have a teen nightclub out there called The Attic. And
Hmm.
it was right on the boulevard. This is like before, I think this is like '04, '05. And that's what really pushed it. It was like Kryptonite and The Attic, like that, those places were nuts. So like dancers from around the country that were
They
teenagers,
were really on fire. And you
they
said, what
were
was that,
on.
like 90s
No, this is
or
like early
early 2000s?
2000s, early 2000s. Like they're battling out at these teen nightclubs up in Myrtle Beach. So then I went, I would go back home like every Christmas or every summer or Thanksgiving. And there were places up in New Jersey and New York, like the Roxy and Skate Key and
Hmm.
Route 22. And I would go battle up there. And I just like really expanded like my name through the East Coast. And I started really pushing and I started going to Break Atlanta, which was a huge battle back in the day. And I met a lot of the old cats that helped build the Atlanta dance scene in the 90s.
Hmm.
So I started getting connected with them as a teenager, and then I just kept really pushing. But like I said, as far as my career goes, when I met my old friend Jay Flip, he was just getting onto like America's Best Dance Crew and all this other stuff.
What was like, tell us a little bit about some of the roadblocks, because like I know one of the important pieces here, you've had some really outrageous opportunities with crazy people that you probably never thought you'd meet in your lifetime. We all
Yeah,
know about the glitz and the glamour and the TikTok and the Instagram fame and all this stuff you can do with it. And being in the exciting field of dance and entertainment's awesome. But tell us a little bit about maybe some of the hard times.
yeah. As far as the hard times, um, I dealt with a lot of bigotry when I moved down here. um, I dealt with a lot of racial bigotry down here with being half white. Um, I couldn't be myself down here, especially being from up north. I really couldn't be myself down here. So I was dealing with the minority side of my life, where being a Filipino and not being accepted by most of the minority side, and then on the white side wasn't accepted on that end either.
Right.
So I had to find the middle ground of being an outcast.
Or prove yourself in certain circles.
Right. And
Either or.
sometimes those circles were a little dangerous.
Hmm.
And I had to get my life through. I met good friends on the way, like my boy Sideshow, who had my back through a lot at that time. And he's one of the original members of Dragon House, and it was a lot. So by the time I reached about 13, my mentor, um, that's what really pushed it over the edge. My mentor died in a car accident. He was just, a guide for my life. Like it wasn't even about dance. It was just, he was a guide through my life. Like he pushed me through, made my life easier and
Gotcha.
more focused. So when he passed, he was 17 when he passed. So he passed, it was just like a launch point
Hmm.
where I numbed all my emotions and just went blinders,
Hmm.
just started working. I didn't care. No, I just wanted to get out.
Yeah.
I just wanted to leave. I wanted to leave the South. I wanted to leave Georgia. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to get out.
Got you.
And, I dealt with, if we're getting to the nitty gritty of this, I, grew up with abusive parents.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't have a father figure. I had a mother, and I grew up with a very narcissistic mother. So me and my brother and my sister dealt with a lot, but me and my brother had to basically, like my mom was like a sister. She wasn't even really like a mom. So like
Right.
I had to take care
More
of her.
like a sibling relationship.
Yeah. So I had to like me and my brother had to take care of her most of our lives.
Where did after he passed away and you wanted to get out, what is it that kept you on track? I know that Again, the whole reason why Mikey here's on the show, guys. I mean, this kid from the day one, we've never even really hung out personally, and just the exuberant amount of leadership or motivation or drive that's coming from him is outrageous. What kept you on track, Michael?
Um, staying alive, staying alive. I just kept wanting to stay alive, and I just kept pushing forward. So whatever it was, I just did it.
Yeah.
Didn't care what it was. I just did it. Just made it happen.
Do you think a lot of people our age understand that?
No, the thing was is that a lot of people, with having the type of parent I had growing up, and then the kind of community that I lived in, a lot of people needed somebody.
Right.
Nobody had anybody. So I felt like I had to step up because nobody would get off their ass. But growing up, like, it was a war zone. So especially on the South side, it was a war zone. And I mean, I could go on for days about the South side.
But you said something the other day, and maybe you don't mind repeating again, but like, what would your advice be to some of these kids that just don't take responsibility? They're not trying to make anything of themselves or motivate to be in any kind of career, hobby, anything. You said something the other day where it was like, keep messing up. Like,
Yeah,
do it.
he's trying
Yeah,
he's trying to put it politely, but my phrase was keep fucking up.
that's right.
If you don't keep fucking up, you're not gonna learn. If you're gonna sit there and complain and whine and cry, that's fine. That's totally fine. But when you're done, get up and move. Because there's no point of just sitting there.
One thing that I wanted to get back into is kind of the lifestyle and the entertainment. Real quick, Mikey, with the dance community, you mentioned Dragon, and there's possibly some workshops that you're going to be doing or some new avenues that you're trying to explore. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so with this workshop tour, I saw with the pandemic how much it affected the entertainment industry. I had friends like my friend Ricky, who is the uh, one of the executive directors for Cirque du Soleil,
Hmm.
and I taught them a couple of times, and he had to file for bankruptcy for Cirque du Soleil, which was terrible. Um, there were people out, Live Nation had to outsource to somebody in Saudi Arabia in order to keep them afloat. There was a whole bunch of people just losing their careers and like not putting in, losing the effort. Before the pandemic, I was already retiring. I was already done. I was dealing with a lot of things in 2019, and you know, a lot of mental health that I needed to deal with. And it just created a whole conundrum that I needed to fix. So I resigned from the industry and wanted to get focused on having a 9 to 5 life, because overall, like, I wanted to have family. I wanted to have my own family
Hmm.
one day. So by the time the pandemic hit, I was already a freight broker for UPS for a subsidiary company called Coyote. So, uh, and I was building a list of all these work from home jobs in case this failed. So I just kept working, and I was building a new dance company as I was doing this. But then the pandemic just gave a slap towards everybody. So over the year during the pandemic and into this year, at the end of this year, I started really honing in on like what I wanted to do. So, um, somebody that I really love and care about still, I looked at, we were talking in bed, and I was talking to her, and I was like, what she wanted to do with her life and her dreams and everything else. And, she was telling me, and I was really surprised. And that's one of the key moments why I fell in love with her. Um, but she asked me what I wanted to do. I said I want to get back into dancing. She's like, so go do it. And I was like, I've never heard a woman down here or anywhere at my age level that was like, just straightforward. Go
Right.
do it. And I was like, okay. So I did. And I started creating this dance album about her. And some of them aren't exactly nice, but at the same time, a lot of it is about, I mean, the whole thing is about her. And I was creating a workshop tour for it last year, but the pandemic really hit. So we were post pandemic and I couldn't do much. The studio, there was about 40% of the entire dance industry in the state of Georgia just gone. Like studios
Overnight.
overnight, studios closed down, companies were closing down that were booking dancers, agencies were closed. I was just like, damn.
What was your first go at it? Were you like, man, do I open up like a training shop for dancing to bring it back, or because searching for venues is like a no go right now? What was your
Right.
move?
So I already had, a studio back in the day. I mean, I already had a dance company and everything else. But, I was going to try to rebuild a new one. And then the pandemic, it was just like, all right, we're just going to take a shit on everybody today. So, or for the next couple of years. I was like, okay, thanks.
Mhm.
I realized that I can't help anybody if I can't help myself. Right. So I started creating this dance album, which is like 15 videos. It's 15 visuals of different songs that I felt connected to my story.
Mhm.
And the title of the album is called I Got You. So, I was going to create this workshop tour. I have a huge list of studios that I created, like a huge handmade CRM system
Mhm.
where I was cold calling them, like, put on my Mickey Mouse voice. Hi, this is Michael Hollingsworth and love to teach hip hop at your studio. And
You were building hard, as they would call it.
oh yeah. So by
uh,
the time I did all that, they were like, yeah, I would love to, but we don't have the students and everything else because of the pandemic. And I'm like, look, I got you. I'm gonna I'll do this and that. And then like I said, things didn't really work out between me and her as much as I would still love it to be. And
but it still made a big difference, the conversation that you had, didn't it?
it makes a huge difference to my life right now. She's still, without even being here, still makes a huge difference to my life now, and for the better.
Hmm.
And I hope I'm doing that for her. But anyway, I created this. So I'm creating this tour where I'm giving my services out for free. I'm going to be teaching for free at all these studios across the state of Georgia.
Is there any style of dance that you're going to focus on primarily, or do you teach it all?
I'm focusing on choreography so that way a lot of them get the footage that they're looking for the studios.
Right.
Because the thing is that they need advertising. A lot of these places don't realize that their advertising and marketing is just outdated.
Yeah.
And they need that commercialized look so that way more students want to come in the door because everything has gone virtual.
Like a brand refresh, these things happen a lot,
Yeah.
whatever.
So I wanted to bring in a couple of notable friends. I'm not going to stay them just yet until June, but yeah, yeah, they're already on board. They're already going to put this in. The only thing I asked for the studios was to pay for the videography fee, so that the videographer gets paid.
Right.
And we'll have about 20 different. Each studio is going to have a choreo,
Or yeah. Hmm.
different choreo to learn. But I'm going to be focusing on like techniques and foundations.
Are you going to do it monthly, or is it weekly?
No, it's every day in June.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Every day in June, like back to back to back to back.
All right.
So
So
I
so
had
go check out this page in June.
so I had over 50 studios call me within 24 hours, and I was shocked, especially after like the gasket I blew in 2019. I was like super shocked, and I was so surprised, especially the certain studios I called.
Hmm.
And I was like, you need my help right now? And they're like, yeah, like, you've been here for so long, like it's insane that you're here and you're still helping. I was like, yeah, I'm surprised too. So I was like, they're like, what are you doing? So the same thing I'm telling you is that I am going to be teaching every video from the dance album and doing one video per studio. So
Perfect.
that way they all get
Hmm.
different choreos put together.
And all
That
you
way no studio has the same video.
So it seems like if you have a little bit of endurance and that drive that keeps you motivated, you can still stand out of a crowd, can't you?
Always. For some reason, always. Even if I'm just being quiet.
Yep.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
congratulations on the studios. That's phenomenal. And
I
I'm sure
appreciate
that that
it.
was some much needed feedback, and that's just always good to hear once you've been in any industry for such a long time.
Yeah, so the name of the tour is the I Got You tour. So I got everybody. It was like, all right, look, I got you. Don't worry about it. Let's get the shit done.
Hmm.
And with the South, everybody wants a little bit more politeness, and without me being so blunt and straightforward. So I had to put on my Mickey Mouse voice.
You
But
you gonna remind us of the Brooklyn every now and then, though, right?
yeah, a little
All
bit.
right, all right, good, good,
So no, I gotta remind you every day.
good.
But but yeah, it's just like I wanted to let everybody know I still got you. No matter it was the dance community, no matter, back in the day, how far it was, I still got you, everybody. Even my worst enemies, I still got you because, the only reason you're mad is because you're scared and you're upset in some way. I might
Don't
have hurt you.
understand it or fear it. Yep.
Yeah, like, I might hurt them too. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as, my point in life is just get it done. Like, if it hurts you, I'm sorry, tell me. So I don't do it again. And
You
I
can
might
come
fuck,
back
and
and
I
you
might
won't
fuck up.
re-equivocate. But
Yeah.
I like that you come out with your message. It's in your art. We've talked a little bit about your background already. It seems like there's a common theme there, so I'm glad that you have that. And that must be really great for others to watch in front of you as well. Getting back, Mikey, just real quick, was there anything else on the workshop that you wanted to tell anybody about? Like dates?
With the workshop tour,
Can anybody just jump in at one of these studios and like join
yeah,
a class
anybody,
or
all ages can jump in. Um, I don't care if you have, any training. We're just out here doing our thing. Like, I got you. You want to be, if you're aspiring dancer and you've never done it before, come out. You are trained, come out. If you just want to kick back and watch, come out.
I love it.
This is a community thing. This is not just a dance thing. This is we need to come back together because with the pandemic, with the politics that's been going on, everything else, like, we are all on our own.
You are so on point and on time, sir. I appreciate that message, sending that out right there. That's
Yeah.
awesome that you're giving other people wanting to get interested in choreography, the entertainment industry at all, dance, come out, enjoy yourself, even if you're trained, untrained, if you just want to come learn what it's like. And if you do show up and you do find out at these studios, spend some time with these guys, get to know them. They have some great connections, and it might actually further one of y'all's careers.
Yeah,
So,
we'll be doing Q&As at the end, as always. We'll do a question and answer. I'm not gonna say their, what
yeah,
companies or names, but we've had a couple of stations, radio and news stations reach out, which was really what really blew my mind,
amazing.
that they want to, like, they're like, when is this happening? I was like, it's happening in 6 months. And they're like, okay, call us back when it happens. And I was like, okay. They're like, because this is a huge story, like nobody's doing this. And I was mind blown.
That's awesome. That's
And I
amazing.
was
Well,
like,
we won't let the cat out of the bag just yet.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be big. So, I'm excited. Everybody else is excited. The South Side is excited. I'm happy for everybody, for the community. You know,
But
um,
it's just time to get back together. I like how you
yeah,
do it.
like it's nonsense. Like, no, it's not that it's just time to get back together. It's that we all we got. We all we got. You know, with all these politics, with these pandemic and everything else, like we got a lot. There's too much
There's
chaos.
some priorities to be
Yeah, there's too much chaos
re-synergized.
going on that we do like we it's just nonsense that we don't have each other's back right now. So my email is the Mr. period Mikey at gmail.com. So THEMR period MIKEY at gmail.com. And then the same thing with my Instagram, it's at the Mr. Mikey with a period between the Mr. and the Mikey. And just you got any questions, just give me a holler.
This Michael does a lot of things, guys. So out of the bunch of people that you will meet, he has a personality to boot, and he's quite dangerous. So watch your back, stay tuned. Thank you, Mikey, for your time today, and we appreciate what you do on and off the field, man. Make it a great rest of the day today, okay?
Thank you.
Till next time. Hey, everyone. Thank you again for stopping by the Healthy Huddle with Michael Hollingsworth and myself. If you enjoyed any information, do check out his Instagram, his Facebook, see what he's doing in the dance world. Also, check out kogardens.com for any nutrition. Have a great day.